Kama kuna Ewaso Nyiro hakuna maji. Kama hakuna maji hakuna maisha. Kama hakuna maisha hakuna mifugo.
Siku hizi ikifika wakati kama huu hatupati maji.
Watu wanaenda kama kilomita 40 kutafuta maji.
Maji imekuwa kidogo na imekuwa chafu sana. Zamani Ewaso Nyiro ikiwa nyingi inakuwa na maji mzuri.
Mpango wa Mungu mwingine. Ataweza kutupangia alafu na tunyasia. Na sasa sisi hatujui kama atachukua muda gani.
These are just some of the reasons why representatives from pastoral communities in Laikipia, Samburu and Isiolo counties planned for the dual Camel Caravan, an activity to raise awareness on the plight of the Ewaso Nyiro River ecosystem.
Maji yanachapuka na kwa sasa kisima moja ndio watu wanachota na wanyama yote anakula pale.
Sai watu Kombola na Gafasa hawapandi kwa sababu maji haifiki huko.
With its sources mainly from Mount Kenya and the Aberdare range of mountains, Ewaso Nyiro is a key source of socio-economic livelihood for about 3 million Maasai, Samburu, Borana, Rendile, Turkana and Somali communities.
Kutoka leo mpaka tarehe 14. Huyu ndio kiongozi yenu.
I've come here so that we do this project of conserving this water.
Flagged off simultaneously from Merti in Isiolo and at El Naboli in Laikipia, the two camel caravans led over 200 pastoralists through one of the most hostile environments found in Kenya.
I'm an advocacy activist in development in the communities. If the pastures are the problem, water catchments are drying up.
The young and the old, among them volunteers, activists, elders, women, girls and camel handlers, trekked along the Ewaso Nyiro River on a mission to draw attention to the looming calamity facing the people who largely rely on waters from Ewaso Nyiro.
Tunaendanga pamoja ili nipate matibabu ya dharura.
Coincidentally, this event took place at a time when the world was celebrating International Day of the World's Indigenous People. Under the United Nations, 9th of August of each year has been set aside to promote and protect the rights of the world's indigenous peoples. Midway to the destination, this is one of the caravans arriving at Gotu from Merti. Meaning a hole where water falls into, just next to the Ewaso Nyiro River, it is one of the catchment areas. Despite the fact that they appeared tired, some of the participants found time in the evening to expound on why they were involved in this activity.
Hii mtoni ikifungwa kitu kwanza sisi tukuhusisha kabisa. Ni mzuri ingefaa serikali tukuhusisha.
Among other issues, the locals are deeply worried about the proposed construction of a multi-billion mega dam at Oldo Nyiro. This, according to Kenya's Vision 2030, will also pave way for the establishment of a resort city that will offer similar services to those found in Las Vegas in the US or the Middle East, Dubai.
Besides hata na mega dam, tunafikiria bengine imekatishwa matributary zile inatoka sehemu zingine. So kwa sasa ile level ya ile maji ambaye tulikuwa tunatumia imepungua zaidi ya 80%.
Wafugaji watakuwa wanakimbia wapi? Mpaka kule Southern Ethiopia. Na kule watakuwa wanaongeza pressure mingi kule na inaweza leta pia conflict between countries.
Sasa tunalia. Tunasema isijengwe lakini ikijengwa ile block itajengwa naye ni sisi.
Ewaso Nyiro kama nakatwa hata wewe mwenyewe kama mimi nakuuliza sisi tutafanya nini?
Although they carried along some tents, most trekkers slept out in the open. Each caravan had volunteers who were in charge of security and food, among other duties. Expert camel handlers, first aiders, Cooks and licensed security personnel drawn from various communities formed a strong caravan team that was meant to assist participants walk through the semi-arid region. This is John Pasulan from Olnaboli village in Ewaso. At the age of 9 years, he's the youngest participant in the 2014 Camel Caravan.
Camels are good animals. They give us milk and meat.
I must say these kind of animals are drought resistant, and more so they are very cheap to keep, very, very expensive to buy.
Camel is an animal that most pastoral communities rely heavily on. It can withstand the toughest conditions on dry land, one of the reasons why it was chosen to be part of this campaign trail. This animal is the primary source of transport, milk, meat, wool, and hide in most communities in northern Kenya.
It's kind of a land cruiser to me. Can carry up to more than 1,000 kilos. And they take a long time before they drink water. They are the sheep of the desert.
There is a very strong relationship between water and the educational development of the girl child. In such communities, the fetching of water is solely the work of women and girls, and when its availability is a challenge, this impacts negatively, especially on those who are responsible for looking for it.
They are thinking of a girl as a property to the men.
And as a Boran girl, we have a lot of challenges. For example, like early marriage.
My name is Winnie Camel. I'm a journalist and I'm working, following the caravan just to get a story.
This story, it's a story. It's a story that can sell. It's a story that can win. It's a story that if passed across, not only Kenya, but the world will listen.
It's really a worthy cause, coming that it's coming from the community itself.
I know that if we don't address this issue promptly, we can have fights here.
Unaware of the event, these armed members from the Samburu community were a bit concerned about having the caravan in their neighborhood. This is an example of youths who own illegal guns in this region. There was a tense moment as a caravan from Merti decided to take a break here. Ironically, the theme of the Camel Caravan was conserving Ewaso Nyiro River for peace and prosperity.
Mimi naitwa Hassan kutoka Merti, Solo County. Sisi ni jamii moja ambaye maisha yetu inategemea mifugo. Na hii mifugo inategemea nyasi. Kwa sasa ni muhimu sana sisi zote tushikamane, tulie kwa Mwenyezi Mungu na kilio yetu Mwenyezi Mungu asikie, Ewaso Nyiro isifungue.
The adverse effects of climate change and the growing pressure on Ewaso Nyiro River directly affects the community's peaceful coexistence. After covering a distance of 250 kilometers, the two caravans finally met at Archer's Post along a section of the newly tarmacked Cape to Cairo highway. Joined by well-wishers, they proceeded to mark the end of the 2014 Camel Caravan at a venue not far from the Ewaso Nyiro. This is where one can easily visualize the amount of water that has reduced over time. According to the locals, the normal water level used to reach just below the concrete slabs of this old bridge, and transport was occasionally disrupted during rainy seasons due to flooding, one of the reasons why the height of the new bridge was raised considerably. This is a clear indication of how low the water level has fallen, by about 15 feet. There were several cultural presentations before community representatives from Laikipia, Samburu, and Isiolo reiterated their concerns on the plight of the Ewaso Nyiro River ecosystem to the few political leaders who bothered to attend the function.
Wakitaka kututengenezea dam, mto ya Ewaso Nyiro kuna mahali inaishiaga. Waende washimbe dam huko. Ndio hiyo dam itusaidie na huko mbele. Tulime naye mashamba, tupande naye mamiti.
Mambo ya resource ni kimila ya watu kutoka nje ambaye wakikuja hapa haishikani na culture yetu. Hiyo resource ina wazungu wanajenga huko. Sisi wa Afrika maskini, hata watchmen sisi, hata wale wanafikia sakafu sisi.
Hii Ewaso Nyiro wanatukatia kwa nini? Kupatia ile watu wanajiweza ati wanaenda kuweka maua yao. Kwanza hata hiyo maua inaenda wapi? Naenda ngambo. Kwa hivyo hata wale wananunua tunataka kuambia tunauliwa hapa.
Pastoralism has survived and will still survive. It's for the world to just appreciate that this is like any other model of production. It's viable, ecologically sustainable. All that we need to do is to put investment in livestock and pastoral areas.
I think it's okay, and it will be okay.
Gala waso